Hello, everyone. I'm here with my good friend, Lydia Bagarozza. Welcome, Lydia.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk about Are You Right for PR? Something that we've been discussing as we've been doing our launch for our group program, Visibility on Purpose. We noticed that there are some limiting beliefs that have popped up, so I'm really excited to discuss them.
This is like debunk central. We're just gonna be like debunk, debunk, debunk.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've been hearing this, and I've experienced this personally. You shared a post yesterday of the press that you got and not even wanting to share it with people, right? So there are some beliefs that tend to come up when we are entering the possibility of being seen, being known, being featured, being, on a podcast that reaches millions of people. It's a big freaking deal, and we're human, and all the beliefs come up. So let's kind of run through some of the top ones that have been most prevalent for some of your clients.
Okay,
there you go.
Good. Okay. Absolutely. So one of them that's really big is, do I have enough followers? And a lot of us, I think, look at our businesses through the lens of social media a lot of the time, which, let me just say, I think that PR is so important in so many ways, if not to also get us off of those platforms so others can find us, our audience members can find us through different channels. Whether it be through a podcast or through an editorial piece, they can stumble upon us and click on our websites and find us that way. But to debunk this followers thing, no, it doesn't matter. Well, basically, I've been in the industry for a very long time. I've worked with Grammy Award-winning artists. I've worked with newer musicians. I've worked with lifestyle brands. I've worked with now many conscious CEOs. And what really is important and valuable, and I've been proving this every day for the past almost 10 years, is value. So when we're pitching our stories, we're pitching a story angle, we're introducing ourselves and highlighting our sparkle, our it factor. That's what's really important to the media, because they are the gatekeepers basically of their audience members. They're looking to share what would be an interesting story, what would be valuable, what would their audience members like. So that is the lens that they're looking through. It's always about value at the end of the day and not about follower count.
I love that. And I think it's important to explain how media works, because I know obviously you and I have been working together for the last couple of years, but I don't think I understood to the extent that this is really a very different industry where it's almost crowdsourced information, where they are looking for experts to basically create the best story for their audience and their platform. Therefore, it's like this beautiful synergistic match between the expert, between the teacher, between the business owner who has something to share, and the media outlet who's looking for that story. It's very magical, I think.
It is very magical. And a great point to that, actually, I've been told multiple times from writers that they need and they have to have multiple individuals that are supporting their story. So a lot of the times that they're talking about, for example, a story on mindfulness, they're looking for not one, but many experts to come in and share a perspective that's going to support their story angle. So when it comes to how many people can be in the media, am I worthy enough? Is there enough space for me? There is absolutely enough space for you. Just think about one article and their need for at least 2 to 5 experts. Now multiply that times the millions that are going out in a day. So, but yeah, it is quite beautiful in that publicists and writers, producers, editors all work together really well. And this, if you cut out a publicist, then it's really just going straight from the brand to the media contact. So basically what you're doing when we are pitching, introducing a story angle to these media contacts, is we're just letting them know, hi, this is something that I think you might want to know about. That's all. So it's not a scary thing as much as it is just letting them know that you exist, or this angle exists. Like maybe there's a story that you really feel is important to get out, and you know that you could see it featured somewhere like Oprah. These are the things that they really love to receive, and we're actually helping make their lives easier instead of them having to be searching for the right contacts, searching for the right support. And then also the other piece of this is, what are the odds of a writer at Oprah finding you on Instagram instead of, especially the way that things work too, the way that things work are that brands are reaching out to them. So it's really just the odds of them finding you is like a needle in a haystack, basically.
Yeah, it's such a good point. Another debunking limiting belief that tends to come up for a lot of people, and I've experienced this one personally, is there's 1,000 people like already doing the same thing. Like, what makes me as the Kundalini yoga teacher different from the 5,000 other Kundalini yoga teachers? Like, why me? And I think that's a big question a lot of people ask. Like, maybe you're watching this and you've seen us talk about visibility on purpose, and you're like, yeah, but there's like other publishers, or there are other podcast hosts, there's other, nonprofit business owners. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So I hear that a lot, where I don't know who's the famous Kundalini teacher? She just passed away.
Oh, Gooder Duggett.
Yes. Okay. So imagine you entering PR last year and thinking that, or entering this PR journey last year and thinking like, oh my God, why would I be featured? Because she's the expert here. People want to hear from her. However, media contacts don't want to be interviewing the same exact person every single time for the same stories. They want other resources and other support. So that's one. Another thing is every single person in this world is unique. Yeah. Every single person. We all do things differently. If I were a mindful expert and Bridget was a mindfulness expert, we would do things totally differently because we are different people. Even if we taught the same thing and preached the same stuff, the way that I'm going to present it, the way that the language I'm going to use, my flavor is going to be different. And that's just the way that it is. So when you're thinking about like, well, who am I? Why am I worthy? You're worthy because you're super different and you have something special to bring to this planet. So that's something that we're going to do in Visibility on Purpose, is really sifting through and pulling out the highlighted parts of you, the it factor, the sparkle that Bridget likes to call it. And I love when she calls it sparkle, but it's true. It is your sparkle. So if anybody is out there thinking today, like, oh, I'm not worthy of being seen or something like that, like, you are worthy.
Absolutely. And sometimes we just need an outside source to extract. That is always the word that comes to me when I'm thinking about storytelling or PR, extracting like the magic from us. Sometimes when we're in our own world, we're business owners, we're busy, we don't always get to see like what makes us us. And one of the things that I just love to do is helping someone look at their life journey and say, what are the many moments I've had that just make me unique? Like, no one else has had the same experience. And part of PR is like about claiming your experiences and your story and simply bringing that to the table and saying like, this is who I am. Like, this is a great story angle. Let's make some magic together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's such a beautiful thing. And sometimes we need it, like you mentioned, like reflected back to us. And I think like one of the best ways to start diving into this, if you're out there thinking, I'm not really sure what makes me different, which we're going to talk about brand positioning statements in Visibility on Purpose and really uncover all of that stuff. But if you're sitting there thinking like, I really don't know, I'm one business coach out of a million business coaches, look at all the feedback that you get from your clients and start reading those through. And I promise you that you will get a lot of parallels. Those are the little pieces that are going to give you an idea of your sparkle.
I love that. Okay, here's some other ones. Followers. Do we need a certain amount of followers to be even considered?
Oh, this is interesting. So I want to talk about, which I always think is like funny in a catch-22. We talked about this. People are like, well, I'm not like, Amanda Frances, and I don't have 1 million followers like her. Amanda Frances has had a kick-ass PR campaign since the beginning of her brand. And I know because I see her press and I see her consistently being featured in the media. And that only helps build up her brand because it's building up her credibility, her trust. And then what else comes with that? Followers, right? She's in front of audiences, and those audiences are then funneling into her socials. So the answer to that is no, you don't need a minimum follower count, especially for editorial and actually for everything. All you really need is just links to your website and your pages. I would say website is the most important out of any social, just so they're able to find you and also like pay for your business, for your program.
I love that. What a good reminder. What a good reminder. And I think what this really comes back to, and part of our mission is like, this is about value. This is about connection. This is not about vanity metrics. Like, this is about you being you taking the steps to introduce yourself to the right people at the right place at the right time with the right vision and showing up for the call and doing the damn thing.
Yeah, I think that our specialty too, which is something that like the reason why we're doing this together is we are so good at seeing what makes somebody unique. Like I really think that that is something that we're really good at. And we're like, oh my goodness, this is it. Like you are so unique, and we're your biggest hype queens. Really, really. But a lot of it comes down to subconscious limiting beliefs. Anybody out there who is shaming somebody for press, not true. And what we're talking about here too is we're not talking about paid press. We're talking about earned press. And so earned press and
explain this.
Yeah, very, very different things. So you can technically go to a publication and you can pay to get in there, but it's considered advertising. And let me tell you, those fees are ridiculous. So even for just like a local publication, a local magazine that's maybe delivered to your county, maybe your state, those can range anywhere from $500 for an ad up to like $5,000 to $10,000. And if we're talking Oprah or something like that, that can go up to like $500,000. And I am not joking. These are real prices. You can go online and Google them. You can talk to somebody in their advertising team. Sometimes they won't even talk about it until you actually have an interaction with them. But they can be anywhere from $25,000 to $500,000 depending on the publication and where you want to go. So for this is earned press, and that we are sharing value. And the exchange here and the energy exchange here is value. Value for audience, or what is the word I'm looking for? Getting in front of an audience. There we go. So that is the value exchange here. And I think that there's a misconception, especially in the spiritual communities, that you need to pay in order to get yourself into press. And that is absolutely not the case. All of my clients that have been private or in my containers have gotten themselves in huge publications for free, and they are just sharing their value. So let me just list a few off. Mind Body Green, Oprah, Forbes, Well and Good, Thrive Global, Medium, and then I can go on a huge rampage for the podcast that my clients have been featured in. Time Magazine. One of my students got their Airbnb in Time Magazine, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? That's a huge magazine. So it's just really incredible what you can do when you decide and make the decision to allow yourself to be seen. And again, this is not about vanity metrics. This is about sharing a message. We all have, especially me and Bridget, we work with mostly purpose-driven entrepreneurs, if not exclusively, and purpose meaning that they are here with a purpose. They're here with a mission. They're changing the world for the better. And that's what this is about. It's not about getting all the shiny logos. I mean, yeah, those look nice and help people make decisions when it comes to your programs, but it's about making a huge change. And that's what we're here to do at the end of the day.
Absolutely. The deeper part of this work is that words matter, and we know that words influence society. And we know that as conscious entrepreneurs, conscious CEOs who have a mission on this planet, who feel like they were called to help humanity, that we can basically use our words to empower people. Because I know you're not talking about McDonald's hamburgers when you're selling anything or when you're promoting anything in your business. We get to use our words to empower others, activate others. And this is a massive ripple effect that goes beyond just social media. We've now been able to use social media and see the beauty that it can connect us to anyone in the world. We have megaphones in our pocket. And this is basically a call to take it one step further, to go one step bigger in front of more people and make more impact.
Exactly. And when we do this too and decide to put ourselves out there, the universe is going to meet us back. So you're going to notice your friends are going to want you on their podcast. You're going to notice that writers that you've had a connection with are going to come back to you and ask you for support. This happens all the time. I have clients that I've had for like a year now. And so these writers and producers, they know that I'm representing them or on their team. If you cut me out, it would just be the brand. And they come straight to you and they ask you because they know that you're providing value, especially if they've worked with you before. So then it just creates a ripple effect of like, where else can you be featured by making these connections and these really, that's another thing that me and Bridget are doing here. We're talking about creating human connections with these media contacts. None of this is about vanity. It is all about making these real connections, making a change, and creating that ripple effect, whether it be within the media, within these high profile networks, and then beyond to audience members.
The last thing I want to drive home for today is really about what we are offering with Visibility on Purpose. And as we've kind of talked about, you can pay for press, that is paid press and advertising. There's earned press. We are teaching you how to do this yourself. We are teaching you all the tools that you would typically be paying a publicist to do, which is also fine, right? There are so many ways that we can do this. You can also pay Lydia to do this for you as well. We are teaching you how to do this yourself. So if you are the business owner who's not at the place to hire the publicist yet, right? Maybe you don't have enough recurring income. Maybe you still have a bunch of expenses. You are able to learn this information and have this tool in your toolkit so that you can pitch yourself, make these incredible contacts, make these incredible introductions, get to put the logos and the emblems on your LinkedIn pages and your bios and your website, and not have to pay the fees that are associated elsewhere.
Exactly. And I always think this is really good too for entrepreneurs that want to dip their toes in the media industry, but maybe aren't yet ready to go third party. I really think that everybody should be taking this course. And the reason being is not only are you going to get so laser focused and clear on your branding, brand positioning, what you want to call yourself, maybe like the headshots you want to use, all the things, right? We're going to do all the foundational pieces, but you're also going to understand how the media works. So when you do eventually go work with a publicist, you know the best ways to support them to make your press trail even better than you can imagine. So
okay, I'm not sure if I lost Lydia. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, there you are.
Where did you hear me last?
You were saying so.
Okay. Basically what I'm saying is this program that me and Bridget are doing, Visibility on Purpose, is fantastic for any foundational work. If you're thinking about eventually hiring a publicist down the road, learning all the branding skills that you need, as well as learning how the media works. So when you do eventually decide to work with a publicist, maybe you have some logos, your brand is going in a direction where you're ready to do that. You know exactly what makes sense for good, strong story angles and can just help your publicist in making your press trail better than you can imagine.
I love that. And if you're just popping in, we're rounding up this conversation about just debunking some of the beliefs that you may have around press. Am I right for this? Am I good enough? What would I even talk about? Do I need to have followers? Do I need to be famous? All the things that may be moving through your mind. Make sure that you watch the beginning of this video so that you can hear some of those from a publicist perspective. And this is Visibility on Purpose. This is what Lydia and I have co-created and just collaborated on together. And we are just so excited to put this out there into the world. We are beginning our journey together in community on Monday, September 12th. We'll be having a lot of support throughout this launch of this program. So if you feel like you need support, you want accountability, you want a group to do this with, because you won't be alone, and you want a step-by-step roadmap to learn how to be your own publicist, as Lydia says.
Exactly. And there's so many topics too you can speak on. So the last thing before we leave is like, what do I even talk about, right? If you're thinking about that and you're like, I really don't know what to speak about, like mindfulness, meditation, whatever it is that you teach, has already been spoken about, or this or that, there are infinite possibilities out there and infinite story angles. I would even just go back to your brand pillars. Even those pillars are things that you can talk about night and day, right? And then those pillars can be broken down into tinier pieces and tinier pieces. So when you're thinking about it that way, you're thinking about the seasons, you're thinking about what maybe is going on right now in our news and why your work is so important. All of those angles, those are all talking points. You are valuable. Your story needs to be heard. You can speak on tons of different topics. So there's lots of things we're going to be playing around with as well in this program when we start diving into all of the like pitching materials and foundational pieces.
We're so excited, like so excited. And what I can't wait to see is when someone like puts the puzzle pieces together, as I like to say, of like, oh shit, my journey is valuable. Like, I get myself. I can share this.
There's going to be a lot of those.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I put the link in the comment section below, in the description below. If you know someone who has been like nudging at this and talking about this with you, feel free to send it to them. Feel free to message Lydia or I. We're happy to answer some of your questions. Like, am I right for PR? Maybe that's your question. Feel free to send us a message, and we'd be happy to just hold you in that big hug space of your visibility and expansion. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thanks, Lydia.
Thank you.